where he's bench pressing and Jake rolls up to him. Why did I just say it like?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast. I am your host, Xavier, and I am joined by the boys back in the studio. We're going to do the rundown here. Over here to my left is Anthony.
2023.
It is actually 2023. That's wild. But what's up? Yeah, Danny.
2-3.
What's up?
Zach, right over there in the corner.
What's up, guys? Happy New Year.
I'm still shooketh because it's 2023.
Yeah, it's weird. It's gonna be weird to write.
You guys, it's been a whole year since we recorded a podcast.
Shut your mouth. No, I'm kidding. I haven't recorded an episode since last year, guys. But we're super excited to be back here in the studio. And what better way to kick off 2023 than right to it, crazy spoilerific podcast review episode of James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water.
Ooh. Okay, I thought it deserved an ooh.
I think it does deserve an ooh because after like
Definitely
12
does.
years, it's finally back.
Finally.
Still using
No,
papyrus.
13 years.
Still using the papyrus font like that SNL skit. I got reminded of that the other day by the guys, and that
How did he get
skit
away
is
with it?
amazing. He just got away with it.
That's
It's just papyrus. It's Ryan Gosling like went full send on that skit. That was like from 2017, I think, and it's great. But speaking of great, I think it's been a great long while since the first one came out in 2009, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
pretty nuts.
that's Spanish Rap 2009 since that came out.
Oof.
Community reference. Watch Community. That's your friendly yearly, like once a month reminder to watch Community. But
The movie's
yeah,
coming out soon.
6 seasons in a movie. But we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna talk some spoilers. We're gonna reveal some plot points. But more importantly, Danny has given us a good rundown of kind of like key points of our experiences in the movie. Quick kind of roll call. Who out of the four of us has seen it more than once?
Me. And
Nice.
That's
and
Zach.
me.
That's also me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
You and I have seen it in 2 premium formats, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Anthony
Mm.
and Danny have seen it in 1 premium format, just different of the premium formats.
Well, we all have in total, just 2 different formats?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
is it
Yeah.
3?
we, as the great John Hammond from Jurassic Park would say, we spared no expense.
2 different ones.
Because I saw it in Dolby 3D.
Zach and I saw our first showing in Dolby 3D.
Yeah. The three of us, minus Anthony, watched it that first initial in Dolby 3D.
But then Anthony,
Wait, what? The 3 of us minus.
the 3 of us, so Danny,
Okay, the three of us.
Well, he
but
saw it
like-
like the day after you guys.
but
right?
in Dolby.
Oh, okay, got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I haven't seen
Oh
Dolby
no!
yet.
Wait, you saw it in Dolby? I thought it was
No.
because you got sick. Never mind. Because you were gonna watch it in a different regular format.
No, he's going to watch it in Limax.
no. Because
Right?
Well, it was whatever you guys were watching it in. But
Dolby.
then
It was
I couldn't
Dolby.
go. So
Yeah.
then I was going to watch it in real 3D
No.
because I had to work late.
in real D3, yeah, real
watching in fake
D3D,
3D.
but
But
in a
then-
regular theater.
I got COVID, so I couldn't go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ripperoni.
And then I ended up watching it like a week and a half later in Dolby 3D.
Okay, good.
There we go.
Yeah.
But I did not get to see it in the beautiful IMAX, real IMAX.
the
Are you
way
feeling better?
James Cameron intended.
Yeah.
God's IMAX.
Well, apparently, this movie he intended it to be in Dolby.
Oh,
Not
really?
IMAX.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently, I think the preferred way to watch is the Dolby 3D.
well, it was really good.
So I
in
haven't
Dolby.
seen it in Dolby.
Because I will say that when we watched it in the IMAX,
It wasn't
3D,
expanded.
It wasn't.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
surprised. I was surprised.
You could see the pixels
Oh,
on that not the screen, but the
in the water.
The no. Yeah, you can see the pixels projected onto the screen, and there were parts where it kind of threw me off a little bit. Where I'm like, oh, why is it so?
You sure it were pixels and not just like particle effects from like
No, like there were
Pandora?
pixels. Like you can see like the vertical lines, like in.
Damn,
like,
I'm,
some
What
of
were
the
you
shots.
looking at? I don't know.
I was looking at just what I expected. But
I didn't see it.
I mean, I don't know. Like I thought it was, I always joke that like, oh, this is, the way the movie's intended, which is like this real blown up, this real
Yeah.
I thought so
massive
too.
screen of IMAX, like, because it looked great. Like our initial, like we initially, like I think we can all agree that the movie was just like a technical like marvel of in and of itself. Like it's just the experience of watching that on screen. You get to a point where you're just like, yeah, none of this is CG. Like it just starts looking real, and your mind just starts believing it's real. That kind of just, I don't know if anybody else had that same impression. Maybe I'm just
Yep.
like a kid, but it's
Nope.
just like,
Yeah, no, it looked so good that
It's-
I think maybe
It's easily the best looking movie ever made so far.
for sure. I think
until Avatar 3 comes out,
until part two.
obviously.
I think
I don't know. Maybe this one will look better. Just because I don't know if Avatar 3 will be all underwater. It might be
Yeah.
in the mountains or something. They'll find the avatars or the Navi in the mountains.
the Earth Navi.
Well, I think
Earthbenders.
what the rumor
Well,
was
the
like
fire.
fire. The rumor
the
was like
ash
fire.
people.
But, so how is James Cameron gonna do it? He's gonna film people on fire the whole time. Like, what is he gonna do?
I don't think
Yes.
they're literally on fire. They just live.
He might.
Maybe
he
like
might
They're,
like
they're
a-
gonna be like the Gorons from Legend of Zelda, where they just
the
live
rock
near a mountain.
people. So they're gonna be like rock, Navi.
people. Yeah, they might be rock Navi. They're just super jacked and like they just like
Wait,
climb
for Earth or for
into-
fire?
Well, because they're gonna be near fire, but they live in the mountain probably.
because I was thinking like maybe they live at the foot of a volcano or something.
Why not?
Or
Yeah.
some kind
Just
of
like
Yeah,
lava.
the
just
people-
like in Zelda.
Yeah.
The Gorons
just like
from
the
Zelda.
Gorons.
And then what? Number 4 is gonna have ice people. Is it gonna be like a snow area?
no humans.
Human.
Are you
snow
sure we're
people?
not talking about another Avatar movie? Or
No, I'm just saying,
franchise
like,
or-
For these movies not to get stale, like you're not gonna do part 3, water people part 2. Like you're gonna have
Yeah.
to do something else for part 3. So I just wonder what he's gonna.
because there are, I think from what I remember, there are five
yeah.
tribes or five.
Well, there's 5 movies
Yeah,
that he's planning.
so we've already done the
The forest.
Omaticaya.
Mhm.
Now we've done the Medcaia. Now we have 3 other ones that.
I'm glad you
Or
remembered the name.
Look at-
Yeah,
I did
I
too.
remembered Omaticaya, but not the new members.
Medcaina? I know. I remember that
I've
more
only
than
seen
the
it once,
Matikaina.
so I was like, I don't remember their names.
Because I remember Medcaia because it sounds like hyena. So I was like
Okay.
Medcaina.
I mean, I feel like they said it just as much as the first one, but that one,
Yeah,
Medcaina, for some reason, just stuck in my brain more.
No, I
It's
remember
weird.
that.
Omaticaya.
Omaticaya people.
well, Medcaina has
Said by Wes Studi. That's
Exactly.
the best
fewer
part.
Exactly.
syllables
Wes
versus Omaticaya, which is literally 5. Yeah, 5 syllables.
All right. Good job, Zach. Thank you for, like,
English.
I know
lessons.
he and I probably like in separate ways deep dove into the lore again, but I mean, initial impressions, yeah, like the movie's a marvel. Story wise, it's like, what you expect. Like, I didn't expect this massive thing. I mean, the one thing that kind of threw me off guard in a good way, I've heard from other people different consensus, is that there are a lot of new characters
Mhm.
in terms of like the family, Sully's family, as well as the Medcaina people, and then like the Tulkun are technically characters in in and of themselves. So like Payakan, like that the smartest killer whale. Like I call him like Smart Murder Free Willy. He like that was a character in of itself because he has his own thing too, and it's for me, like the movie, for it being 3 hours and 12 minutes,
Mm.
did not feel like 3 hours and 12
No, it
minutes.
did not.
And I've seen it twice already,
It did
and
not.
there were points I'm just like,
Give me
the
more.
heck? Like, okay, like I'm cool. Like just keep just more of a visual feast.
Yeah.
And like I just set the expectation of just you want the visuals, and it's like you're in it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
There were times like we were talking about like especially like Dolby happened. This happened to me. I was telling Zach this in the theater, but definitely in the Lord's IMAX up in the Museum of Science down here in South Florida. The a lot of the like particle effects or things that would come, or even like splashes of water. There were certain points where you think, oh, that's in my face. Let me get out of here. Like your brain thinks that you're just that real depth of 3D is just it's working. Like the initial like ambush in the old the area where the final fight in the first movie occurred, and they go back to that in the beginning. Like all the trees
That was cool.
going through, like it just there's depth to it. Like it's like it makes you think. It's like, man, imagine if they made a Predator movie, but like that, like just all fully
And
immersive
like
in 3D,
super deep forest.
deep forest 3D, deep jungle 3D. I mean, that's more of a forest, but yeah, I like that's what I thought. The movies, I think honestly, you gotta not watch it in just a normal like format. You're just gonna cheat yourself out, and it's gonna be like it's gonna be sad. Like it's gonna be a sad experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's in theaters now. Get yourself to a theater and watch it because it's definitely a theater experience. Because if you want to watch it in 2D, then just wait for it to be on video or streaming, because it's not going to be the same when you watch it streaming.
Absolutely. not.
So while it's in theaters now, it's probably going to be in theaters making money for 3 months
Seriously.
or 2 months until Ant-Man comes out. So it'll probably be there for a while. It's still even this week I checked, it's still going to be in Dolby 3D, and that's rare because most of the time when a movie comes out, when it's new, it stays on Dolby for maybe a week or two, and then the next movie that comes out takes over, right? But this movie's like, no, we're just gonna keep it.
It's
We're
mine now.
keeping it in Dolby 3D
And there's not really a big movie coming out for a while.
till Ant-Man,
Till
February.
Yeah.
February. So
Not March. Holy crap.
No, February.
I forgot it's
I
February.
think it's mid-February.
But also on top of the 3D, we had the 48 frames.
Yes.
So the higher
HFR.
refresh
And
rate.
it's like
Yeah.
the first thing you see when the 20th Century
You
Fox logo.
definitely
Yeah.
notice it.
It's the first
In
thing.
the
Immediately.
logo.
20th Century Studios. You're like, oh, this is yeah.
Like, it looks a lot
Smooth.
smoother. Like,
I think
wow.
it's called 20th Century Smooth Studios. That's what it was.
Smooth, like
Smooth
48
studios.
frames. What'd you think watching this in Dolby? Like going and seeing that, oh, this is the high frame rate everybody was talking about from the early preview towards like the middle of last year. What'd you think, Danny?
I think like at first it was like, oh, you got to get used to it. But overall, I think it definitely enhanced the 3D and like visuals of the movie. I didn't find it distracting. Maybe like the first couple scenes because I didn't expect it. But overall, it was super smooth. I enjoyed it. I liked it.
It feels like a 3-hour theme park ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you do the Flight of Passage, literally the
Amazing.
ride that spawned from this movie,
Question before you
or
go on.
the first movie.
Has everybody in this room gone on the ride?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, of
cool.
course.
So we can like, I think I don't know if I'm stealing your point here, but think about that ride, and then like as they're riding in the Banshees to go out, was it east? I guess over to the Meccaina clan. You start seeing all the rock formations and the water. Like was that to me was very evocative of the ride. Like that immediately, just, especially with
they
the higher
had-
frame, I was like, holy crap!
They had places from this movie in the ride.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No, for sure, 100%. There was one scene where they're doing like the training montages with the kids underwater, and then they get to an area, and then they all look up, and there's like this cool rock formation.
Oh, the Three Brothers.
Yeah, I think the Three Brothers mountains or whatever they called it, rocks.
Yeah.
That for sure is in the ride. So it's like this man already knew that was going to be in the movie,
I mean, I'm sure
When
he
this
mapped
ride-
out the whole world.
right? But
or at least
how long
the key
has that
parts.
ride been made?
Since 2015, maybe.
Yeah, maybe even earlier. And the planning for it was even earlier.
Well, yeah, because
So,
the movie was in development for
like
at
6
least a
years.
decade.
12 years.
So apparently it was
so they were
it was completed 4 years ago. Like he finished filming it like 5 or 4 years ago, and then he finished production on it like a year later. So it's been sitting around for like 3 or 4 years for them to release it.
because I'm sure the ride and the movie were kind of made in tandem with each other
Possibly.
to include like parts that were not seen in the first Avatar movie
Right.
for the purpose of the ride.
But yeah, I know 100% that one of the places in the movie shows up in the ride.
Yeah,
I
I'm pretty
remember.
sure-
I remember specifically. I'm like that whole
Like I've seen this before.
Yeah, I've seen this. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's in the ride. That's awesome. It's like that's nuts that he like planned that far in advance.
I'm pretty sure the next time like any one of us goes
I made that
to,
junk before I put it in the room.
And the good thing is, since what you see in the ride is on a screen and it's like digital, they could probably easily create extra scenes that you ride through that are in later movies, just like kind of what they do in Star Tours, that they added extra scenes that you just go through.
Yeah.
And it could be randomized.
Imagine it's like, oh, we're gonna do Flight of the Banshee, but now these other areas and these other areas, and holy crap, that's the end. That's the late game of what they want to do in Pandora over in Animal Kingdom.
That's the Banshee. What they do, ride the like water Banshee or whatever those things
The
are.
Right,
called.
the
water
emu?
alligator.
Yeah,
the
that's
eel.
like the ones that fly but also like swim.
Swim
with
fly.
their
Okay, those guys
tails.
were cool
they're
as shit.
so awesome.
That was cool as shit. I just again like they got creative with this a lot of the marine life because you remember a lot of the forest life from the first movie, so they had to make sure and kind of come up with ways that evolution would take hold in Pandora.
Like the 8-legged horses and all that, or
6-legged.
was it 6? I
Six
don't even
legs.
remember, but they had a lot of legs.
Yeah, a lot of the wildlife has like 6 limbs.
Mm.
It's because of the gravity, and so because of the lower gravity, they needed more limbs to be stable, and some wild stuff. Yeah, I dug into something.
Well, what I was gonna say about like with the ride, the comparison was more of just like because of the high frame rate, it feels like you're just in a attraction ride than a movie, so it feels more like an immersive experience.
Yeah, I think especially what was interesting is like the raid on the maglev or the maglev train that they were trying to like haul over supplies to. That whole sequence at first it was like jarring. I was like, whoa, this looks too weird. And then like the explosion happened and the train ride, I was like, oh, that seems like what would actually happen if this would like in a real frame rate of like if a train derailed like that. So like,
But then that scene was in slow motion when it exploded.
which is weird
So,
too.
yeah, it
So
was
you're
so like slow motion, high frame rate. You're like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, what? So it's just normal.
yeah, it was.
It was kind of weird.
But yeah, then
It
like
looked cool, but it looked weird at the same time. Like
and then
the
like
fire
the
looked
rest
awesome.
of yeah,
I
that,
feel like
the,
a video game, really.
yeah,
Cool.
that's what it felt to me. Like I was watching a like cutscene in a game, but in a good way. Like it was jarring, but it wasn't like terrible. You know, like because like it could have gone really bad.
I think it was
Yeah.
definitely a step up from the Hobbit movies
Yeah,
because they played the Hobbit movies in theaters. I don't know if you saw them in theaters,
I watched the first
I only
two,
watched
but
the first one in high frame rate.
but I think I saw all of them in high frame rate.
I saw none of them in high frame rate. Actually, I have no idea what they look
Did
like.
we watch Battle
high
of
frame
Five
rate.
Armies in the theater in high frame rate?
I mean,
I
I'm pretty sure
don't
we did.
remember the
I think we
glasses
did.
though.
I'm pretty sure we did. I remember seeing all of them, or at least was the first one.
I think the first
Only
one came
I
out.
think only the second and third one were in high frame rate.
I thought
no,
they
the
all
first
were.
one was for sure.
I thought they all
Was it?
were.
But the second, I don't remember the second.
I just
or the third
remember
being it.
I remember watching it more than once in high frame rate, and then like
Thanks, Weta.
yeah, both of the times I was like, man, it's off. Like
Yeah.
it looks weird. So I kind of like that he, kind of picked and chose certain scenes for him to do it. But yeah, I was telling them when we got out of the movie that pretty much the only time where it felt really weird to me was the very beginning because they were showing.
Date night with the Banshee.
It was like
ride.
it was like it was nighttime and they were flying on the Banshee and it looked too fast, so it made it look like they were flying really
I know
fast on the
exactly.
Banshees,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they really weren't because they were just like gliding at night. And so it's like this looks like
But it was also the fact that the camera was locked in
Yeah.
on like their face.
Mhm.
So it's more like tracking the face and you see the
but that was a
weird movement.
it was like
kind of.
so it was like multiple edits. So it was like there was a faraway shot where it showed them both flying and it was really quick, and then it
Yeah.
edited quick to their faces. So it
Yeah.
was like two quick high frame rate shots, and then it went to like a non high frame rate shot, and that's why to me it was weird because it was quick. But then pretty much every time after that, I didn't mind it because I felt like it blended well with the other shots that they mixed it in with. Especially, I think there was other times where it was an action scene, and they were maybe like running through the trees and the forest, and that looked really good when they were running through because it to me it gave it more time to show, like instead of milliseconds, it's 20 seconds of them running away from a bad guy, and it's just like it looks like you're the cameraman following them through the forest.
And there's
So
it
it's
adds the
it's
tension.
like I'm James Cameron
yeah,
and I'm following them through the forest.
I'm adding the
Cameraman
tension.
runs faster than
Yeah, man. This isn't a digital camera. This is me.
It's me looking at this story in the future.
Yeah,
in
a
whole
lot
new
of it, a lot of
solar
those scenes
system.
were pretty surreal because you're just like it sounds stupid when you just hear someone say it, but you just have to watch it because there are multiple times, at least for me, that you do feel like, okay, like I'm in the forest, I'm in the water, I feel like I'm witnessing what's happening like in this world. It's pretty nuts.
Everything underwater was in a. I think right. Everything underwater was high frame rate. If I'm
I
not
don't think
mistaken.
everything.
Like there was a lot that was
I don't
just
think
when,
everything.
like whether you're on top of water, but like you're swimming, yeah, all that stuff seemed in high frame rate where it added to the tension. Where like, yeah, this is you have because you're swimming in water, it adds more to the likeness of these people have to swim through here, and then you get chase sequences against like the submarine dudes, and they actually looked cool because then you could tell, hey, this is machinery and there's people inside there. You see them kind of virtually moving their arms, and then the machinery is moving.
like the little crab machines.
Yeah, man.
the crab subs.
MVP, the crabs. Man.
Crab battle. Yeah, those were really freaking cool. And then just all the water stuff. So like Loak with Payakon is just looks so cool. Or you would see that people would jump into the water and it's just water splashing around and they're continuing to swim. So it seems more realistic. And like Anthony said, all this then any cuts to where people are speaking, let's say like indoors or something of that nature, it will be in the standard kind of frame rate what you're used to.
Which is what? It's 24 frames normally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But even some of the like conversations when like the Phoenix, the Project Phoenix avatars that got preloaded up with dead Marines pre-death memories, like all their conversation stuff looked pretty like just legit. Like they're just talking and they would move in the high frame rate because if to show off they're in the avatars. Like it was really cool.
and what I liked was if either all of it or most of the underwater scenes were high frame rate because it was underwater. Since everything is kind of slow already, when you have things underwater, it made the underwater scenes look even better just because it was like slow but not really. It was like slow but quick and smooth underwater.
It seemed more realistic.
Yeah.
Where like, hey, I'm moving. I can only move this at this speed, especially with Jake and his family going in water or having to ride the elu and the other crazy like not swimming fish horse thing, like the swimming crocodile thing. It was just wild that like when they're underwater you could see it just like, oh, we're going fast here, but it's still like just that real immersiveness to it.
Yeah, it
felt really cool.
It's
Really nuts.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he actually the technology was there and that they had the actors in the mocap suits underwater doing all this. That's why it just looks so good underwater.
Some of the like behind the scenes clips that have been shared like on Instagram or like YouTube, it's pretty crazy how they film this and how they wear the suits, like the mocap suits, and just
I'm still underwater.
I'm sure it's hard to just act with a mocap suit
and
like
emote
with nothing around you
while you're holding your breath.
and then two underwater.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But it's like you watch this movie and you watch movies like Aquaman. It's like they're not underwater. Like, it's just like Jason Momoa has CGI hair flowing in non-water.
Yeah,
like,
these scrubs are just doing some stuff in the background. They're not really in water.
so that's another thing that's like even more impressive because like even though the actors are acting underwater, the Na'vi themselves are CGI like over the acting. So it's like the hair on all the Na'vi, like is that semi-real or is it all CG? Because the hair looked real like throughout the whole movie.
Even like the what would in my mind would be like, oh, that's prosthetics, like with the arms on, especially on the
yeah. You just think like this is a real person. Yeah,
like that's at that point that's real.
It's nuts.
Like it's again, the higher frame rate doesn't give you the soap opera effect. It's the like you're just looking at real things that live in another solar system. Nuts.
It's a documentary.
Yeah, it's watching
the
a
true motion.
Someone went to
the true
Alpha
motion
Centauri.
on your TV.
Yeah. Speaking of like impressive and really technical, we need the Zach, your rating of the water.
Oh boy, get
Is
ready,
this,
guys.
Is this,
Getting ready.
is this,
Is this
How to Train Your Dragon
2?
or Toy Story 4 water?
No, this blows everything out of.
The water. Yes. Yes.
Blows everything else out of the water. 12 out of 10.
12 out of 10.
So this truly is the way
water
of the water.
is so real. I could just reach into the screen and wet my hands with it.
Well, that's 40x. So you got to watch it in 40x.
I will.
40x3.
And
I think I want to. The only thing that's making me not want to is because the past 2 times I've gone there, they don't have the AC on. So I don't know if I want to be sitting in there for 3.5 hours sweating.
Just wear the
What?
loincloth from the Omatekaya. Like,
No.
Because at
Just
least
turn
the,
the air
spray,
on.
the sprays of water will. You know,
Well, that's the thing, though. I saw
Keep you cool.
Batman in there, and I thought I was going to be wet the whole time because that movie's raining 90% of the
well, I
movie.
meant that it would just keep you cool when the because the AC's not.
I don't know. But they did. I didn't
Little-
get. I didn't
little
get sprayed
spray,
enough
yeah.
during the Batman, so I don't know how often they're gonna spray you in this movie, considering 2 hours of it are
It's like
underwater.
too much water.
Yeah.
way of too much water. But this was
So this
the
is
way
your
of all the
new-
water.
This is your new standard to compare.
This is. I mean,
Top Gun
The
or-
water was real. Like you can't get any more any better than that.
The thing is, it probably wasn't, and that's
no,
even
it
crazier.
wasn't. It wasn't real water. But I'm saying it was. It's real.
It's both. The thing is,
Air
like, so like
quotes, it's
he
real.
filmed things underwater, but then it's like they probably replaced it with CGI, and you're like, I can't tell the difference because that's how good it is.
like they made the water better.
Like they made it
water
better
is
than
better
2000
than real water.
because wetter is better. It's a
Wetter's
Super
better.
Soaker commercial.
Water's
Is
better.
water wet?
It is.
Oh, I'm not doing that conversation
It
here.
is.
I'm not doing that. That's a weird conversation. It hurts my brain every time it comes up.
But it is.
But this let all the viewers and listeners know, understand this, that it has the
Approval.
ultimate approval of Zach here.
the Zach Levitt water realism
Yeah.
It has the
seal of
chub-
approval.
It has
Seal
the
of approval.
chubbiest of rains.
The chubbiest.
CGI rains in this movie. Like,
The ultimate is water CG realistic stamp of approval by Zach Lovett here.
Certified.
Always check.
Certified wet.
Oh God.
That's the tag for the episode. We just got it.
We'll do this for every movie now that has water.
Mhm.
This is
So did you watch
What do you
The
think?
Shape of Water? How was the shape of that water?
I never watched it.
Oh,
Oh,
so you
we
can't.
can't-
but that's
judge the water.
M Night, is it?
No.
Oh no, that's
That
Lady in
is
the Water.
Lady in the
Guillermo-
Water.
Lady in the Water.
Guillermo
okay.
del Toro.
I was about to bash on that movie so hard.
Oh.
about
Damn,
to-
damn. What's wrong with the lady?
In the of the water.
Well, it's M
Bryce
Night.
Dallas Howard.
That's all. That's all I
Yeah.
have to say. It's M Night.
all right. Now let's
Damn,
move on
man,
here
what's wrong with M.
to.
Night Shyamalan? Aside from Last Airbender.
That's the only thing wrong with.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So
Different avatar. Different avatar.
let's go around and see who everyone's favorite character was in this.
Oh,
Favorite
man.
character? Mine's easy. I'll
'Cause
let you guys go first.
At
I'm not
least
going first.
in this movie.
I've only seen it once, so I have to go last. I have to think.
At
about
least
it.
you
in
go
this
first.
movie, we got a bunch of new characters,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is nice. Yeah, we'll just go in order this way. So Zach, which was your favorite character?
Wait. So before we go to favorite character, it has to be favorite character that's a new character to
No,
the
just
second
No,
movie,
just in
or
general.
just can be all the characters.
Yeah,
Okay. Got it.
and it can't be water.
Who?
Water's
Water?
the
Water.
character. Water.
But the water's so good; it's a character.
Water. But water surrounds us all. I forgot.
So Awa is my favorite character because she's the water.
She is the
She's
water.
the water. She is the water and the darkness. She's like the light and the darkness.
She's with you when you were birth and with you after your death. All right, go ahead. But for real though,
My favorite character, man.
I don't even know
I
their
don't-
names, man. I don't even know their names.
Yeah, there's some I don't know their names, but
There's my Jake.
I'm.
Specifically, my.
My Jake.
My Jake.
Blue Zoe Saldana.
Man.
You've got
Nefertiti or whatever her name is.
Neytiri.
Neytiri.
Man, I don't know.
good.
I want to say Quaritch. I like
All
the
right.
way that they brought him
Ooh.
back. I like that he's still the same like he doesn't give a damn kind of like he's
there for the mission. Get it done.
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly did not know that was his character's name.
Miles Quaritch.
I didn't know that was his character's
I did.
name from the first movie. I actually didn't even know they said his name in the first movie.
Well, okay,
I thought they just called him Colonel, and he was just the Colonel, and I don't think he had I didn't know he had a name. So when I hear that, Quaritch is in this one, I'm like, who? And then they show it's him. They're like, Stephen Lang.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned him when Jake was doing his like logs of just
They
getting
probably
familiar
did.
with
I'm sure.
But the thing is, it's such a strange name. I don't think I registered it that it was like they were talking about him, and they probably only mentioned it that one time. At least I just never.
From
I've
watching
seen that movie multiple times, and I've never realized that was his name.
From watching the first one right before the second one, or rewatching the first one for the second one. I think it's the scene where he's bench pressing and Jake rolls up to him. Why did I just say it like that?
I just got it. Oh my god!
Wow, dude! Wow, dude!
Ableist much? Come on.
Is he Optimus Prime? Like, roll out.
No, he's rolled.
I know, because the wheelchair. So messed up,
Oh
man.
I mean,
He just rolled up the Quaritch. Hey, but wait.
You're the reason he wanted to become a blue person. Like,
You know what that reminds me is Quaritch now benching more weight because there's less gravity on
Well,
no,
Pandora?
because
That's
he's
what it
a
was in the first
huge
movie.
animal
Yeah.
that's super strong.
oh, you mean not for this movie? Oh no,
No, I was saying like
in the first movie.
in the first movie when
No, he was benching more. He said, "Oh, you gotta." He said something about it. It'll make you soft or whatever.
Yeah.
he could easily bench more.
Oh,
Now that
like
he's
this
a
low
Navi.
gravity will make
Well,
you
no,
soft.
I'm saying before when
As
that
he's
Quaritch was a
benching.
human, he could bench more weight because there's less gravity.
I think the gravity is
mean,
like 0.79.
0.8.
Whatever.
That's
What
0.8.
it didn't matter. He was benching like 500 pounds or something like that.
Man,
Yeah, he was a beef.
he's the guy who went
Beefy.
through the wall in The Men Who Stare at Goats. That was
That's
the movie.
true.
But he's really
He was
funny,
funny
in that movie. He was. I like seeing Stephen Lang doing little things, but like coming back to his stone cold badassery in this movie.
Well, so Jake approaches. I'm gonna
My Jake.
my Jake. My Jake approaches, and he introduces himself as Miles Quaritch. I think it's the first time, or
Miles
maybe
Quaritch.
only time you hear his
I
name.
honestly think they say it once or twice near
Yeah.
the beginning, and then that's it. The rest of the time, it's Colonel.
So when you guys,
Hoorah! Or- it's like,
when,
Ooh-ah.
get some. That guy just says "get some." That's his only line in both movies because
He really does
he's in
say
the second
get some
movie.
and then dies.
Yeah,
when you guys went to go see Avatar the first night when I was supposed to go with you guys,
uh-huh.
I saw the original Avatar at home.
There you go.
So yes, they did mention his name.
The re-release.
Look at that.
Whatever's
No, he
on
saw
Disney
it on
Plus.
Disney Plus. The not 4K version. That's on.
No, I mean I could assume they said his name. It's just for some reason I never registered that whatever weird name that was that they were talking about him.
That's hilarious.
Quaritch. What a strange name.
That's freaking hilarious.
But now I wouldn't.
I'll just call him Colonel Lang.
But yeah, this man,
Yeah,
this
Colonel
man,
Lang.
this man punched a banshee in the face. That's pretty dope. He's just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride you now. Like, just
I mean his human version.
would have
just like-
probably done that.
He jumped out of his mech to fight a Navi. Like he's like, I don't give a damn. He's like, I'm awesome. Like
Or when
his mech was broken. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna get out of the mech and start.
when he
Spiral
came
King
out
style.
in
yeah, exactly.
of the airlock
That
or
was like
whatever,
the most anime part of that movie.
and he starts shooting the ship
Mhm.
while they're escaping in the first movie,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he just goes out without the
While he
mask.
was holding his breath.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
and then he escapes. He's just like,
Whatever.
got it, almost got it. Yeah,
Freaking
that guy's
ridiculous.
he's awesome.
So
That's where he shot Sigourney Weaver.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. So with Quaritch, do you think he'll turn over to the
Okay,
Navi
that's
later?
Like he'll
to the
become
Navi side.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay,
I don't know.
that's been a rumor that I've seen in a few videos where people are saying, "Oh, maybe his story arc will be that
He's
by the fifth
gonna
movie,
be like
or
Vegeta.
he's
By
gonna
the
be in the
fifth
movie.
he's gonna be
Or
Vegeta.
even,
He's
like, by
gonna
the
end
third
up being
movie.
a good guy by the
Fifth
end.
Yeah, he's
movie.
gonna end up having like a whole redemption arc.
Well, especially
basically.
now how he's Navi.
like
technically.
Prince Zuko and
Yeah.
the other Avatar.
No, it would
It's
be
pretty
like
tough though, because so the first movie he was just a bad guy, but he didn't like kill anyone directly related to Jake. This movie,
he only killed Sigourney Weaver.
I mean,
did he
there's
though?
definitely a lot
Wasn't
of
it somebody else
there's-
that shot?
no,
No, it was him.
Okay.
he did.
Yeah, he
I
shot.
mean, there's
Yeah, but
one murder
Sigourney
and
Weaver
a
is
lot of
way different
attempted
than
murder.
his oldest son. So, and what I only saw it once.
Yeah.
Was he the one that actually shot the son? Because I was
No.
under the impression that
He
his son
didn't
just got hit by collateral fire.
No, it
from
was one of
somebody
the other
else.
It was one of the other guys.
Okay,
and they
so-
all got murdered.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Yeah.
Yes.
Neytiri went in
Oh,
there.
they got
They got
murdered.
Full
Super
rage.
Saiyan.
One of them was
They got Super Saiyan.
murdered twice.
Yeah, he double died. We call that double died. Like when the guy
I mean,
Like,
He got an
he-
arrow through
got
his chest.
and then she
couldn't
took
breathe.
it and right
She-
through him
she
again.
said, "Let me make you breathe, and then let me kill you again," because she just unloads and it goes through him. Oh my god!
No, she like bashed him with the bow and broke the mask, and then like suffocated him with the knife, or like like with the chokeholds, just like within that like really crazy ultra. That's another thing. Like you could see reflections of just everything around them in their eyes.
Yeah.
That was nuts. So like you see just like the blind rage in her eyes, and it's like you can sort of see all the fire in the background. It was scary. Like it was legitimately she's just running around, pouncing around, like just like war crying and just murdering everybody.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
That was awesome. Yeah, like stabbed one dude, then used the same arrow that she stabbed the guy with to headshot the person behind him.
She Legolased him. That's
Like,
what it was.
It's just bloop.
She needs to keep reusing the arrows. It's like, oh, I only have like 5.
No, Legolas only like stabbed the guy in the eye and then took the arrow. She stabbed the guy through the chest and then shot the arrow through the chest.
like
That's
like, out his
baller.
back.
Yeah.
And
It was awesome.
That's,
mean, that's-
baller.
there were some pretty good kills. In this
There are
movie.
some great action sequences. Yeah, like the whole
the whole last
the
hour
whole
of the movie.
hour of the movie is just one whole battle sequence.
Which we'll get
Which
to
will-
Yeah.
soon.
Danny,
So, yeah, so Quaritch.
Quaritch,
I guess
new
I'll stick
Quaritch.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's got a bit of a heart because of his son. It's
Yeah.
cool, I like that
Yeah,
spider.
Spider.
I'll choose the other army blue dude in sunglasses.
Other army blue dude.
I saw
He's
a
just
really,
an NPC.
Who? The Get Some guy?
yeah, the
Get Some guy,
had
but
the
when he's
glasses.
blue? Was
I
that
saw-
him though?
Yeah.
I saw
Uh,
some really messed up meme online. I was like, that's pretty accurate though.
No, but I think I'll choose is it Kiri? The
Kiri?
daughter?
Oh,
Kitty,
Kiri?
yeah.
Yeah, Kitty.
So
Who was that? Sigourney
adopted-
Weaver?
Yeah, the adoptive daughter because immaculate conception, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure they'll go more into that.
Maybe
I
Awa
think
like
so.
rebirthed. Like maybe the idea is that Awa like made her reborn from that Navi body, and then
Yeah.
she now has a whole nother life. That's my running theory. Who knows?
Yeah, I've heard
But
that.
she was really
yeah,
cool.
she has a lot of midi-chlorians in her body.
Mhm.
Pretty much. Okay,
Oh no, it's a different franchise. Sorry.
but are we wrong though? Like that
Yeah.
That's
that
what,
junk's
that's,
there.
That's what they said in episode 1. Happened to Shmi or whatever her name is.
Shimmy, shimmy,
Shmi,
Skywalker.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding, Shmi.
But
Yeah.
Shmi.
at
What about
first-
me?
Rip Bob
Mr.
Hoskins.
Shmee.
but at first I thought it was like,
Shmi's me.
oh, all these kids in the movie. I was like, I don't know how. Like, it's always either
Hit or
you know,
miss with kid
hit or
actors.
miss with kid actors. But
I think I did good.
although technically it wasn't a kid, it was Sigourney Weaver acting.
yeah,
60-year-old.
That's kind of weird.
So I heard she
But-
went to like an acting school where they had kids in like their mid-teens, like 15,
Yeah.
16, and
Like try
Like,
to
she-
emulate it.
she like studied with them and got a lot of their mannerisms, how they like she basically like, retrained herself, but to be a teenager. That blew my mind because
That's
you're
pretty
like,
cool.
this is a acclaimed actress, who's been acting for a while, but like, no, let me go back and I gotta play almost a teenage version, but still with my stuff in there, and she's in the water and stuff swimming too, so like all her scenes gotta be underwater.
Yeah.
Nuts.
But then
She's
towards
awesome.
the like middle and end of the movie, you get a bunch of cool new powers.
Revelations.
Oh, she murdered. Okay, yeah. Talk about the anemone murder.
Yeah.
That submarine double died.
Yeah.
Like that was a double die. There's like no, the submarine's
That
broken.
scene was
And then
First
she's
it was
like,
a breach.
That scene
No.
was awesome.
Yeah.
That was so the abyss
yes.
of how like claustrophobic the camera was. It was
Yeah.
like the camera's like in here and it's flooding, and those two people were like, get out. No, you
like
can't.
Yeah.
breach,
No,
breach,
you're not
breach,
getting
breach,
out.
and-
So funny story because
One person got out, and then she was like, "Nah,
no,
son.
you're not.
Nah,
You're going
son.
nowhere. She bonesawed him.
Nah, son.
But here's the thing: is like the movie before we get to continue with favorite new characters or favorite characters is like there were so many. We're gonna start calling James Cameronisms. Like the whole final like battle sequence we'll get to in a second. Like is
Oh.
invocative of a
I think
movie.
I know where you're. Yeah.
the opening sequence when the sky people when humans come back and land back down and just burn a massive swath of forest. That's straight up Terminator 2. Like there's so many like chase sequences like this this he mentioned the Abyss. There's Titanic. There's all these stuff from Aliens. Like man, like it was everywhere. Like it was so cool. Like you're just like, oh, I'm gonna put my greatest hits in these sequences here, and now with greater tech, and it looks wild. It's really good.
I got the Terminator vibes from when like the Terminators would like crush the skulls in Judgment Day.
Yep.
When they would show the future from when Stephen Lang grabs his own skull and crushes it. It's like he likes crushing skulls.
He does like crushing skulls. Just creepy stuff.
Nice.
For the record, these guys have not seen those movies.
No. Well, that wasn't a spoiler.
No, that's just the cool like FX shot that they made in especially Terminator 2. Now you have the whole thing. But anyway, Kitty just basically helped save the family.
Yep.
By they had the the Navi connection with that weird like jellyfish thing that was just acts as like a rebreather for everybody.
Yeah.
Which was cool. And she's like, "Mom, you take this. I don't need it because
like a backpack.
I'm a water wizard now."
Mm-hmm.
And then like the path of lights, like how to get out.
That was hella
cool.
immersive too.
That's
Like
cool.
that was just like you could see the reflection of that in the character's eyes. So it felt way more realistic because
And-
that's not a details that you would normally have. Or just like, oh, we got to make sure these frames that these catch light at this exact way light would catch. So there's crazy ray tracing.
Good choice of
That's
color
good
too.
Mhm.
It stood out, especially with the 3D and the
Sinking whaling
water.
ship.
But definitely excited to see where they take that character
Oh, for sure.
in the next movie, because I'm sure it's going to be very important and a lot of cool new ways to.
Yeah, you think
bring
like
her powers.
you think she has powers, but then you had Norm and the other human dude. They're checking on her. It's like, no, she may just be suffering from epilepsy. Like,
Yeah.
it may just be part of like maybe a type of brain disorder that's may manifest further. Is it really that kind of connection? And if she does it, is it going to hurt her? It's scary. Like it's cool, but you worry for the character now.
Yeah.
Because like she can't connect underwater to any underwater like big awa trees down there because she'll die. Like so it sucks because then she can't talk to her mom. That's uploaded into AWA, so it's pretty nuts.
Definitely a lot of potential for future stuff with that. So
Yeah.
curious to see how that goes.
Can't wait to see who the father, if there is a father, is.
Norm,
And Norm is not the
father.
father.
He's gonna be like, yeah. He's gonna do the Maury dance.
I feel like I want to put that rumor to bed because there was a love story cut out from the first one where it's Norm and Michelle Rodriguez's character. I forget her character's name.
Trudy.
Yes, Trudy. There was a
Why-
I'm
cut,
still bummed that
Why
she
is that
died.
name?
love scene.
was cool.
with some
Well,
deleted
they might
scenes.
bring her back.
She was
She might be
very.
a Navi in the next movie.
She was very.
I mean, that's the cheap way out, I guess.
I
Right,
mean-
yeah, it's just we're gonna upload your brain to this, and I love how Giovanni Ribisi. He's only there for that. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this,
Kind of sucks.
and like Edie
Should've been
Falco's
in
there
there.
for Edie Falco's in like 3 scenes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
weird.
But that's
We'll-
why
we'll
I
get
think
into that.
Yeah, we'll do that in a sec. But
All right, X, your favorite character.
easy, Pyacon, easy.
The whale.
The whale.
That was gonna be.
That's
I was
easy.
gonna say that, but
That dude's a like he had. It's cool because the way like the Omatikaya like have that connection with their banshees. Mekaina have this like almost this spiritual bond with arguably the smartest creatures on that whole planet, which are those whales. And it was cool to see like that reunion. It's a legitimate spiritual connection. So like Ronal, took me a while to realize, oh, that's Kate Winslet.
Mhm.
So she's pregnant and like, oh, we gave, we're having a baby around the same time together. Like it was like, that's like, stuff that family members do. And so it was cool to see that type of communal, not just with nature, but with another intelligent creature. And interesting to see, what's his name? Kind of like be like the sort of resident Earth scientist from Earth, down here, Jermaine Clement. So he's talking about like, oh, like they're super intelligent. They're more intelligent than us. And you see that, but just through like the kind of like subtle, natural ways that they animated them. But then you realize like, oh, there's an outcast, and that's Byakon's like, oh, he's a killer. And you're like, why is he a killer? And with all the connections he has with Loak, like the other, like, the the sort of like prodigal son, the one that's always kind of the screw up, which I didn't really think he was so much of a screw up. It's just I think Jake is not a terrible dad, but he's not the best dad because he doesn't know how to like handle that, like, understanding like where that stuff with Loak is coming from, or like how to channel it properly. But anyway, when he really got to let loose, like you saw him first save Loak from Pandora Shark, pretty badass way, and then you realize like, oh yeah, he has a cool little bond connection. You find out that he actually led some people from the reef, another part of the reef tribe, and some other Tulkun to go fight off the whalers, and it didn't work out, and like he's all battle scarred now because of it. But it was great to see his revenge. Like
so good.
He became Murder Free Willy. They're just looking up as he's jumping. I'm like, you guys need to move because he's not looking to clear you. Like,
and then when he with the like.
No, before we get there, like he jumps on the whaling ship and he just starts wrecking town. Like, I'm here. What the hell are you gonna do? They're shooting at him.
Wailing on them.
Whoa! Second pun of the day. Like they're trying to shoot at him. He's just like, nah. Like
or he blocks like some missile or something.
No, they take the harpoon at him, and he just goes
explosive tip harpoon. Yeah, he
deflects it with his brain, and it blows up something, or with his like hard shell on the top, and
his armor.
And like this is, I don't know if you guys noticed this. When he blocked it, he then looks straight at the guys. It's like, I'm coming for you. He gave him the death eyes.
It was like, you're next.
Yeah, and that whole chase sequence, and they're on the boat, and they're like, oh, we got him, and he's like, you didn't get shit. And like puts them back, dead in the water, and baits them into getting the harpoon in, and it's like, oh snap, we need another one, and just realize, oh, I'm gonna just be able to know where they're going, hook it with my feelers, which were that whole, again, whaling sequence beforehand was just really messed up, of just like, oh, we're gonna sound blast them till they go deaf. So he takes basically his ears, wraps it around, and then just proceeds to like give the ultimate comeuppance to the head of the whaler guy. And he literally gives, you can hear Anthony in the theater, bonesaw, as the cable just rips off his arm. Which is cool that they showed. I was like, man,
I don't think they'll show it.
Are they gonna do it? Are they gonna? Ooh.
And then you see it, and you're like, all right,
3D.
Yeah, 3D,
catch it,
clean cut. Yeah, no, I went back that way, but it was like, he did it. Yeah, like mess him up, and it was like that dude knew that it was his time, and I loved him having fun, and even in the end, he helped Jake and Loak get to the surface again. But if it wasn't for that, like, I thought I was gonna hate Spider as a character, but I actually kind of liked him more as time went by. But Payakon, the homie, the MVP, he's the dude who made it all happen.
I agree.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Yep. Anthony,
I would have to say my boy here, Cliff Curtis.
Oh boy,
I don't remember the character's name, but the
Tonowari,
the head of the.
I didn't look it up. I'm kidding. I did.
Of the water tribe.
Tonowari.
Yeah, he was
Chief
pretty
of the
badass.
Macarena.
I like how he was like, "But you will be useless here.
You will be. Like, they are like babies." I was like, "Damn!" Just treat them like babies. I'm like, "Okay, buddy, you don't have to rub it in." And
he's like, "So you can't breathe underwater. You can't hunt properly." He's like, "So
can't ride."
Yeah.
The Ilu, like, what do you want to like? What do you think you can do? Jake's just here like, we'll adapt. That's what I did, and he's like, I guess, buddy, just go.
Yeah, he's cool.
Make it happen.
I feel like they could have been in it more.
Yeah, but I think it's because the focus was more on like the kids. So because they even strayed away from Jake and Natiri. So it's kind of like the older, like the parents were just like, oh, they're on the side, but the kids was more the focus for like I guess the middle of the movie.
I'm sorry, I hit you many times. You have to give that to Loak. Like that was a good like half apology. He's just like, I'm sorry, I hit you so many times. It's like, kid, just quit while you're ahead. That's great. But yeah, Cliff Curtis, like, I like seeing Cliff Curtis in more things. So like,
he's a good actor.
It's like, I remember seeing him. I remember like in Sunshine, but like randomly in Training Day. Like, but like the more stuff he's in, like, It's I didn't see Reminiscence, but he's in that apparently. But
The
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman
yeah,
movie.
Hugh
Oh, okay.
Jackman movie. But he was in Hobbs and Shaw, which I do remember.
He was in Die Hard 4, I think.
Live Free or no, not Live Free.
Yeah.
Die Hard Forever.
Die Hard with Justin Long.
Die Hard Forever.
No, it was
Or
Live
is
Free,
that
Die
Live
Hard.
Free or Die Hard?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Die Hard 5 is Die Hard Forever. Yeah,
All right.
Wasted
Now,
opportunity.
yeah. But
What
Yeah,
was it with these movies? Like
Guess
not
now.
they
doing
messed-
forever with the number 4. I don't understand.
go-
Like Bad Boys Forever is number 3.
No.
Come on, man.
Live Free or Die Hard was the fourth one. It
I
was-
know.
Yeah,
So what was the 5th one called?
Die Hard Forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember-
Stupid.
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant was the bad guy. It's weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So-
Go on.
Oh, guess that's 2 Avatar movies that Cliff Curtis has been in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But he was good in that one though.
He wasn't part of
There are a
he
few
wasn't
bright
bad.
spots in that movie.
Him,
but the story was
Sean
just
Toll was
terrible.
Uncle Iroh. Like that. That's good stuff.
Good cast, just horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible writing.
But yeah, man, I think we mentioned a bit about like the whole like smorgasbord that is the final battle. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
you get all the like Payakon going to town, but you get like all the really good stuff too. Like again, a lot of the great visual effects, the continuing melodrama between Jake and Quaritch, and all that comes to a head. But I think like that whole sequence alone could be like 3/4 of a movie, but it's pretty out of hand. Like I've just really it was really impressive. Again, like things that you see, like again, a lot of things I'm just thinking, oh, this is Titanic, but I'm so enthralled by everything that's going on in terms of what it looks like visually that even the story beats that are pretty, you can kind of tell what's going to happen. Like you don't have to necessarily really go you don't have to really infer like, oh, what's going to happen with this part. Like, you can kind of immediately tell, but you're still entertained for the ride.
Mhm.
Anybody else like agree with me on that? Like you kind of know the story beats. It's nothing too surprising, but you're like, this is still fun because of the whole total package is so nice to look at.
I think it's just like
I
the whole
think so.
experience of it. Not necessarily there for just the story or just the visuals or just the 3D or you get the whole thing together. It's gonna compromise in some areas, but I think just overall it was
Yeah.
part of the package. I mean, the whole point of a sequel, or at least what you would hope, is that it does better than the first. It takes what's made the first one good, tries to improve on it.
So James Cameron was before this movie was 2 for 2 in terms of making a sequel better than the original.
Mhm.
When it comes to Aliens and Terminator 2. So what do you guys think? Do you think this movie is better than the first one?
I think so.
Zach and I were kind of briefly talking about it.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
little bit
I want to hear
earlier.
what you guys think.
I feel like each one has its pros and cons over the other one. I don't know.
You do.
So while you're thinking,
Yeah, because go ahead.
I think the first one has a better story.
Yes, even though the story in the first one is kind of like,
Yeah, but for me, I'd watch the second one more. I'd rewatch the second one for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
I think I enjoyed the second one a lot more. So that'll be me.
Yeah, I think the second one had. It's weird to say because there's some really cool, like the whole like sky battle was really cool in the first one, but this whole water battle with everything leading up to it, it felt more personal. Like there was more at stake.
mhm.
If that makes any sense. Like I don't know. Like,
No, it
but
does.
uh,
The movie is about family.
Yeah.
And the whole last, like, I don't know why Dominic Toretto wasn't in it
He
because
could have easily showed
the
up.
thing is, Letty was in these
the
movies,
first
so I don't know
one. Yeah,
why isn't Dominic Toretto.
and she
in it?
died.
but she
So-
really died.
She sort of died in Fast and the Furious and came back. So
Who knows? Guys?
spoilers.
They might just take her uploaded brain and put her into one too. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'd be down for that. But
yeah, it was about the family of the main characters from the first movie. So yeah, it was like directly personal for the main character.
yeah, and he's like running away from all of the whole I forget the RDC, from the RDC, like
RDA.
hunting, RDA,
RDA,
sorry,
yeah.
RDA running after him because he's the leader of the insurgency. He's just like, oh, let me just cut loose because I have to protect my family. But hey, man, the planet is your family. That's what he realized. Now I got to fight back.
Yeah.
I guess for me, yeah, like from a technical Marvel standpoint, like, yeah, this movie's 100% better than the first one. But I think there's something missing about like a central hero's journey that you find in the first one that you don't in the second. Like, I feel like there's still more like there isn't a whole lot of character growth, at least from the main character, and even from like Loak, for example. Like, what was his arc?
Well,
like,
maybe maybe he might be the new main character.
that's the idea.
Maybe by part 4,
I'm
there
thinking
won't
by that
be
time
Jake Sully.
it'll be Loak.
Loak.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, what was his arc in the end? Did he finally realize that I have community from finding finding kinship with Payakon, and then realizing that I have to now like step up and take care of family, like, and the idea of just like doing what you need to do for your family.
Yeah, to be more responsible, because a lot of the things that he was getting in trouble for in the movie was he would think he was doing the right thing, but it was also irresponsible. So it's kind of like him growing up. Like, he was, I don't know how old he was, but let's just say he was like
15.
13, 15. So it was like this movie took him from being the little kid teenager to, okay, like, now
I'm the man of
your
the
older
house.
brother,
I'm the man of the house,
died,
yeah.
and now you're the man of the house. And then he became who he will be probably in the next couple movies.
Yeah, and he has his, he's got a friend in me, which is with Payakon. Again, it's the coolest guy.
And
the coolest guy is awake.
Future girlfriend with
The daughter.
Cliff Curtis's daughter.
Yeah, she kept giggling the whole time, so
She liked
he's gotten in.
his jokes. Well, if he said any jokes, I don't even know.
No, it wasn't jokes.
He was just laughing at him not being able to breathe.
Like a baby. They're like, "What's wrong with you?" He's
breathe
like,
better.
Yeah, just skate better. They're like, "What's wrong with you?" It's just like, it's hard to breathe, and they're just like, "What do you mean?
What is this finger talk?
What's this finger talk? I don't know what that is. You don't even know what you're saying." Like,
speaking of, it's pretty interesting how their clan or tribe had like bigger arms.
yeah,
For
the
swimming.
swim,
arms
son.
for the swimming.
That's why I like that.
Their
That-
tails,
those-
cool.
their tails,
Bigger
are-
tails.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
like that. Those are
That's
little
cool.
details. Like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, continue with that.
Like evolutionary wise, like it
Mhm.
makes sense that because they live in that kind of environment where they're in water, like they're always in water, and it makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. So the first one had kind of a better story because it felt more complete. Like Xavier said, it was like this guy's journey. But I think that's kind of why I also like this one more, because the story's simpler. It's straight up a revenge story / story about like protecting my family. And it's just like, and then battle ensues because this guy's out for revenge for like no reason. He's just like, I need to kill this guy.
Yeah. Well, it's not he has a mission to kill that guy, but then it's also
but
it's
like,
also that I have a
it's a
personal
mission
grudge.
from himself because he has a personal grudge.
Yeah.
I'm
not that man.
But yeah, so I felt like because of the simplicity of the story, that they were able to show more of the world because they weren't bogged down by Sam Worthington having to do a whole bunch of exposition like he did in the first movie, like talking about his experience with the tribe and all that. But I mean, I just like that they were able to kind of move quicker through the story because it was more simple.
That brings a point. I feel like it's hard for me to pick one over the other, but two, like Anthony said, it does a really great job of world building and explaining more of like what's going on with like Earth. Like, hey, Earth is dying. That's why we're looking at Alpha Centauri and Pandora as like the next like home for humanity. We would just terraform it and make it shitty because we're humans. But like it's set up for everything in the future. But like it did just enough to make you feel like, okay, I got something out of it, but I want more.
Mhm.
It wasn't just like, oh, they just like, okay, that's like, yeah, like there was one throwaway, like there's a couple throwaway lines about Earth, like, oh, like people stop aging with this,
Yeah.
and then
Very throwaway.
and then you have, yeah, they just stop aging. It's
Or
$1
get
million.
rid of unobtainium. Never mentioned in the
Nope.
No,
movie.
they did. They're like unobtainium is whatever, but then you had this
This
stuff,
new
Amrita, like, and then they talk about like just things how they're progressing on Earth, and like you have enough of that, but
And that's
like
all like one scene.
it's
Yeah.
one
One
line,
scene.
1 or 2 lines, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's cool,
Yeah.
but do we get more? And James Cameron's like, yeah, watch my movies.
Watch
Watch
the
number
next
5.
Watch
two.
number 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, 3
Then
and 4.
maybe we'll
We'll
learn
see
about
Earth.
Earth,
Maybe we'll see Earth at one point. Who knows?
I would kind of like,
or
to
we
see,
go to
like
Earth.
a couple scenes.
The Navi invade Earth. There it is.
Oh,
We're taking back the planet.
I
That
was
we
gonna
never
say
had.
something, but I think I'm gonna hold off on it. I'll tell you guys later because I don't want to spoil anything.
Ooh.
No, it's just something that James Cameron himself said. I'm like, why would he say that? Because he essentially just possibly spoiled something for the next 2 movies.
Oh well, if you
So
really want an
I'm not
ultimate,
gonna. I'm
if
not
you
gonna
want the
mention it.
ultimate spoiler, go to Pandora in Animal Kingdom. Like that stuff is set like I think 100-ish years after the movie.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's set after everything.
okay.
So if you want the ultimate spoiler, that's that. But overall, guys, I think our kind of final impression is that the movie's great. Watch it. Zach has a point, so go
Well,
right ahead.
No, I was gonna, because I never really got to kind of say of the 2 which one.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
which one
right.
you
That
like
is
better?
true. You're never going to. No, I'm kidding. Go
All
ahead.
right, all right, cool. Yeah,
No, go ahead.
He's like, I like part 3 better
You're
because it's
from
not
the
out yet.
He is the future.
Guys, Zach likes this one better because of the water. That's it.
Obviously, that's all it is. There's more
Dude,
water. It's better.
top tier, just top tier.
Top tier water.
The water's wetter in this one
And wetter is better.
because of Wetter Workshop worked on it.
That's the third one today. Too good, Anthony. Too good. This man has been derailed.
So
I got another reference. Sorry, I
Nice.
couldn't.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I think one of my only criticisms of this movie is that the pacing. I think there are some scenes where. Well, actually, no. Let me back up a little bit. There were too many like fast paced or like kind of action sequences. I think to me, like I feel like there wasn't
many?
a moment. Like there were barely any moments where it's kind of like you can just relax and enjoy what's going on before another action scene comes up where there's something going on. I think with the first movie, it kind of builds up to everything. By the time you get to the climax, where everything's slowly building and building and building until you get the last like 45-minute battle scenes, right? But then with this one, it felt like it started off with some action and then it kind of goes. It has these dips where it slows down and then it spikes up again for a good while and it dips again and it goes back up again.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I see where you're coming from because you get the whole like time. Here's a montage of stuff in time, and 17 years later, here's my family, and then hey, look, stuff happens, stuff's on fire. Now I gotta fight back. Action sequence, and now we're up in mountains dealing with this. Blah blah blah. We gotta move, and then now we're moving, and then now this
That was like the first like
30
40
minutes.
or something.
Oh no,
like that.
not even. They don't
Yeah.
move yet because then they have the whole thing with Newport
and
and
it's
his
like
team,
1 year later.
and then that stuff happens, and then so I get what you're saying. It's like I don't know. I felt like there was just enough to settle in, and then they can go to the next one. That's how I felt. But if you wanted a little it to
Well-
settle a little more and make those action sequences have more meaning, I understand that. I don't agree, but I understand.
I think that a lot of the first like 30 minutes could have they could have dialed some parts back a little bit just to give I mean there was definitely a lot of exposition with whatever's happened the last was it like
17
13 15 17 years that you kind of get a lot of or not a lot of information but you get a lot of stuff kind of thrown at you in that small window and then it like Anthony was saying like it cuts to 1 year later after more humans had arrived
Mhm.
from Earth and they land and they take over that one part of I forgot what the city's called but yeah they take over that
The
or they build
MVPs,
that.
The crabs were the MVPs. because this Edie Falco's like, we now have technology that can have these crabs build stuff in like,
In like
a year,
a day.
in
Yeah.
a day, buildings in a day. So they built that city in that 1 year later, that
Yeah.
like mini city where I guess they landed and made Jake run
Yeah.
away from.
So
And
14. So it's
yeah.
14 years from the first to the second, and then that thing happens in the plot,
Well,
and then 15 years,
I-
and then
I
because
also-
one more
Or
year.
1 year. Yeah.
I also didn't like that a lot of that was like a voiceover exposition instead of
Yeah,
That's
that bothered
continuing-
me.
That's a continuation though from the
For the
first,
first
one.
one.
Yeah,
The first one
but the
was
thing
very
is,
heavy
but
on
the thing
that.
is, in the first movie,
they were
it made
video
sense
logs.
because it was video logs.
they were video logs.
So now it's
This
just
is just
voiceover just
narration.
to have it.
Yeah,
there's
this
like
is
no more
narration.
video logs.
Maybe it's a video log for himself, so that but
It's like
down the road
This
Grey-
is
he
Grey's
goes to
Anatomy.
the, he goes
Like
to
Grey's
the great
Anatomy, that's
tree, and then his kids want to see him. He'll go look at my memories where I narrated everything.
So is this like How I Met Your Mother?
Memories bring back.
Could
Memories
be.
bring back.
Could be.
like for some of the parts where it's like you're seeing the kids grow up, it makes more sense because you kind of want to get through that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer that maybe some scenes were actual
Not
like
as
the
rushed.
characters talking to each other instead of just there being a voiceover.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm sure this movie was 10 hours long.
Well,
And he's like, let me cut
I want
it
to
in
see a
half.
super cut of it.
Yeah.
well, you may see a supercut of the third one because he wanted to submit a 9-hour cut.
I'm cool with that.
I mean, that's just like a whole Netflix
Of just
series.
I'm
Part
cool
three?
with that with an
Because
intermission.
apparently he
that's
filmed
good.
a lot of
and
2 or 3
but
together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think 3 is done already filming.
Or should be close
I think
to
it's
done.
I think it's either done or almost done, and then he's gonna spend the next a year and a half doing the post production.
As long, well, yeah, and then the last 2 movies will be determined by how these do.
They're gonna
Well,
get made, man.
They're gonna get made.
this
They're
movie.
gonna make them. They're gonna make them.
This movie made as much as Top Gun in 3 weeks.
worldwide
Yeah.
Yeah,
because domestic it's still like half of what
but,
Top Gun made.
It doesn't matter. The money
Yeah.
is
Still made
money,
it somehow.
and the studio's gonna be looking at
Where-
the total money.
Where is it at right now?
It's like
actually?
1.4 billion.
As of
already,
this
something like
recording,
that.
So as of this recording, Zach will be looking that up right
I'm
now.
gonna start
As he looks that up,
fact-checking. Yeah.
Danny.
We're here January 3rd.
1.444
There you go.
Ooh.
That's worldwide.
in 3 weeks.
That's hot. Like I mean,
And
like
Top
any
Gun's at like 1.5.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Top Gun was in theaters for like 9 months.
They did
And
do
it's-
I
is
think
it
it's
still
still
there? Is it
probably
still there?
Yeah.
It probably is still showing in a couple theaters.
when they were flying in their date night at the beginning of the movie. They did Upside Down. They did do the Top Gun thing.
Yeah,
You just need some.
'Cause they
All
already
you
know.
needed. All you needed was the freaking theme song. When
That would've been
Lady Gaga yelling, "Oh
hold
my!"
my hand. Or in this case, it would have been like
The
hold
week-
my hair, so that because they do the hair thing. Hold my.
But we got the
hand.
weekend. But we got the weekend with
That was
with
so
end
weird.
shots.
That was
That was
weird,
so
man.
weird. I'm like, okay, sure.
Did they purposely make him sound like he was underwater?
They should have. They should
No,
have
that's
brought
just how
back
he
Celine
sings.
Dion, guys.
No, I
Come
think she has something
on.
with her voice and she can't sing.
Yeah.
Something, so
They
you
could
can't
use
do that.
AI to restore.
No, don't do
dude,
that.
No AI.
Oh my
No
god.
AI.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
But
Well, one-
also, we didn't get to
Talk about score. or
talk about
anything
the
like
score, but score was great.
Score was solid. Like they used the same like
was
stuff from
deep.
James
Yeah, it was
Horner
okay.
score, rip James Horner, but like it did its purpose. Like I don't think of anything super memorable
that? Right,
that-
except for the pieces from the first
from the
movie.
first one.
Yeah, just like the main theme
and
Or
and
that
like
main
the very
leitmotif.
sad music when things are going down.
Things going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed kind of like
It was there.
generic.
Yeah, it was there.
a little
Again,
generic.
It served the movie.
it did its job.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
served
when
the
they
movie.
put music in like your standard TV shows. Like it's like, oh, it's just your background music. Obviously, you're not gonna get like the goat Michael Giacchino going doing stuff, but like
or John Williams.
or
Mhm.
John Williams. But
Yeah.
you know, I
Mr.
forget
Zip.
this dude's name.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zim.
Christ.
Yeah.
How do you
Zims.
forget
No.
the Zims?
No, I was gonna say that because this guy, the guy who did the score for this movie, like it was, it was what I call serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nothing that's like, oh my word, like because Simon Franklin, he's done other things that's pretty good, but it's but still like, oh whatever.
Yeah, it was okay. It was good.
He did good. He did his job.
He did a job. One thing, I mean, there's a couple things I didn't like, but one main thing I didn't like, I did not like the freaking whale hunter people. They were introduced like halfway through the movie, so they weren't like the true bad guys the whole movie, because Stephen Lang was. And then
They should have introduced
We're
that
secondary.
whole part of the
We're the
plot.
secondary antagonists.
A
not
little
of
even
Australia.
thirdary because they had Edie Falco there, and but she was only in the movie.
Again,
Like she was in the movie
But-
the first half, and then she just goes away.
But
Again,
she'll be
I think
probably-
setting
Yeah.
up for the third one.
Yeah, that's why it's very
Just like
weird.
Jermaine Clements being probably
Because
set up.
Dude,
I think
didn't he
she's
die?
supposed to be.
No, he lived.
Really? They showed that he lived.
They didn't show him die. Like the only
He was on the ship.
He-
That's
Technicality,
cut in
it's a
half.
technicality.
he was on the boat and he goes duck, and then this
Goose.
dumbass didn't duck, and then he got bone sawed.
Oh
because of
yeah,
his-
And
yeah.
then he ducked- was that before he said his stupid line?
Jermaine Clemens' character, right?
He said that
Is who we're
stupid
talking about?
line.
Yeah,
of
like who's the smarter animal
who's
now?
got the spear now or whatever he said.
Oh yeah, who's got the spear
the
now?
harpoon.
Yeah, he's got the harpoon.
I was like,
got the
come
harpoon
on.
now. You're like, oh man, he's
Yeah,
Yeah,
waiting
I
to
think-
say that.
Like
think
I like
he's-
Jermaine Clement normally, but he was terrible, and so was the other dude who was the main captain shooting the harpoon.
The Australian guy.
Dude, he was like the most forgettable
so cookie
character.
cutter villain.
Not
like,
even
what-
though, like his
I need
dialogue,
my quotas.
his dialogue was bad. I don't understand.
But it's
what
like
it was.
it was like purposely bad. Like I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
But it's like
it was made to be so el generico, like of bad.
yeah,
Like
like anyone could have been that character, and it still would have been bad. I was like, what are they doing here?
Also, where did everyone go at the end? Like
thank
final
you.
battle?
That's my big gripe.
Where did
What-
Cliff Curtis go?
what
Yeah,
with the mech hyena?
They had
Yeah.
50
Yeah,
like people like
true.
ready to stomp on these people.
And
And
then they're
then
like-
they disappeared.
And then they're
And
like,
it turned
oh,
nighttime. Were they scared of the night? Like, oh no, we don't want to go there.
I
at
think
night.
it's because they like murdered a whole bunch of people, and they're like, all right, we done. We got our murder on.
I'm
I'm
almost
sure
certain-
something was cut.
I'm sure there was a line that said when the eclipse happens, like we can't do anything.
Nah, that
Because
sounds
that's-
too lame.
But the thing is, that's what happened. Once the eclipse happened, everything went dark, and it just turned into the Sully family movie
Yeah,
at the end of the movie
But-
because everyone
I was
disappeared.
expecting
I
Cliff
think it's
Curtis
just they
to
saw
like.
they saw so
go
much
in.
wreckage. They're like, oh, we did our job. Everything's done.
What's even weirder is that so his daughter was still there with them
Yeah,
on the
'cause she
ship,
got captured.
right? So
But
like
then he didn't come after.
exactly. Nobody goes and comes after the daughter. It's very
Fair
weird,
point.
man.
That's a fair
Very-
point.
And she was
Something
there on the
was
rock
cut.
when the son had died.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, where did the whole tribe go?
They're like, you
Not
got
even
my
a tribe.
daughter.
Where did
Cool.
all the I don't know
cool
the
fish.
swimmer fish go?
But that's why Payakan is the real one. He came back.
He did.
He came
Well,
back. and
yeah, at
helped.
the end, where
Yeah,
was he? The whole other like the
Yo, he
20
did a,
minutes.
He did a lot.
He did a lot. I
needed
was like,
rest.
I'm tired. Let me
He's
like,
like, let me hold
let
up.
me eat some krill over
Yeah.
here, and then I'm gonna come back.
Payakan was
He did
the,
one
was
of those like I'm gonna open my
Payakan
mouth.
was the dude.
I'm gonna open my mouth and
He
just
was the dude.
eat like millions of krill in one like mouthful.
Yeah, well, he was the dude.
But
That's
it
why
was
I
just
say-
those little things.
That's why I say like the story is pretty generic, but I would
It's
say that's
weird,
a
man.
major thing. Like, yeah, where
that's
did the rest of
that's
the
a
Mechaina
pretty
come
big
up?
plot hole.
Yeah, it's like, guys, where'd they go? Like,
I'm almost certain there might have been a secondary like ship where like so
let's go
like
get
the
them
main,
too.
the main ship was like the Soli family, and then there was like another army group or something like that,
And they were
then
all there.
They were all fighting the other group, and they probably just cut that whole thing out because
Give us
yeah,
the 4
it doesn't make any
version where
sense.
they-
Yeah,
they
it doesn't
cut
make any sense
they
that
fight.
they all just disappeared. It's very weird. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
then they're there when they're doing the whole like the funeral and
Chanting
all that.
thing.
Yeah, it's like
and then it ends.
where were you guys? Maybe you could have saved them. Like what is
And
this?
then it ends with the
Damn.
typical.
Where did you go?
Zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in, eyes open, in front of the tree. I did it.
My Navi.
My
That's the remix. the remix.
Where
that's
did you go, my Jake?
I'm sure in a couple of months when Avatar 2 drops on Disney Plus, we'll get a lot of those extra scenes, like deleted
Or
scenes
someone's
and stuff.
gonna like poke James Cameron so much.
and make it
Be
like,
like,
a
Jim,
super cut.
what
or
happened?
Like a,
What happened to them? And he's
or
gonna be like,
extended cut.
shut
Or
up.
maybe there's 800 hours of underwater footage, like Top Gun.
Zach will want to see.
That yeah, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody. Those are basically that's our big impressions of Avatar: The Way of Water. Again, I think we're all in consensus that it is a must-go see film just for the experience alone. As for it being thought-provoking art or something of that nature,
Well, I mean,
you,
thought provoking art. It
your,
is
your
because
thoughts are so immersed
the
in
art
the
of
tech.
it is freaking
The
fantastic,
digital art
and
is
you
out of hand.
you're thinking about it so much that you're just like, I don't even know what's fake or real anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I mentioned after the second time we watched it where
I need to see. I'm gonna.
I
I'll see
forgot
it
I was
this
watching
weekend.
a movie.
Yeah.
I just forgot I was
Yeah,
watching a movie.
awesome.
I'm so into. I'm just like,
So you
like,
were
oh, it's right. I'm in
Oh,
the
yeah.
you were
theater.
David
There are people
Attenborough,
sitting
and you were
next to me.
like doing like a David Attenborough monologue like to yourself because you think this is a nature documentary. Like, watch how the Na'vi dive underwater.
The
He tries to
Payakon-
go under, but he can't breathe correctly, so he just
Yeah.
swims back up.
the Loak Payakon like fun time montage, like that was a whole thing. You're just like, wow, like this looks legit. Like he didn't look fake next to a whale. Like he just looked like a real living thing just diving. I was like, this is nuts.
Oh, how about
Yeah.
these punk kids that just like essentially like left them to die, dude? That's freaking messed up.
Yeah, that and then with WoW, where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna like cut you the slack and like take the hit or take the heat. And
Why
that's
did
why
you-
that kid
why
was
did
like,
you do that,
But that
bro?
was his growth.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, it
like,
was
why'd
his
you do
growth.
that, bro? He's just like, I don't give a crap, man.
he did what his brother would do, and that was the part of the growth. So yeah, I answered my own question. There we go, everybody. So yeah, if you
Listen
want-
to your brothers.
and listen to your heart by Roxette. Anyway, but listen to us telling you to go watch this movie, but watch it in a premium format. If you watch this in a standard normie showing,
Do not watch
shame
it
on
in
you.
2D, please.
Like save the money,
It's-
like do what
it's
you got to
worth it.
do. Get AMC A-list if you can't go to a real IMAX theater that's real, not this Limax stuff. You got to go and watch it in a premium format. Like that has to be it, because just it's an experience in and of itself that you have to do it.
We barely talked about it, but what do you guys think of the barely mentioned? Oh, this substance has gives no aging.
Like
to
the
people.
replacement of
Amrita,
well, yeah,
I
yeah,
mentioned
we
it.
talked
Amrita,
about it.
we
Yeah, I
mentioned
know,
it.
but it was just
That
like
one throwaway,
we
and then they're
threw
just
away
like,
just like they did. It was just
Yeah.
like, wow. So I guess this is what the next movie will be about. But it was
well,
just
that's
so
why.
random.
Well, that was the thing, because the Mekain are like, oh no, like they're the whalers. They or those people they hunt the Tokun way out of waters. Now they're like, we're gonna do it in your backyard. Suck it.
Every time you say the Whalers, I just think of Bob Marley.
Bob
It's like,
Marley?
is Bob Marley in this movie? That's,
I wanna love you.
But I'm sure
Harpoon.
most of that story
The sun is
was
shining.
cut.
Or we'll get more of it in the
Yeah.
third one. So who
Yeah.
knows?
yeah, this is weird. So it's like all the like weird throwaway lines, like parts 3 and 4. Hopefully,
Yeah, I mean it's that building, but hey, I'm for it. I color me excited, or it's a shade of blue.
Or
At least
blue,
it's
yeah.
only 2 years, so
It's only 2 years.
Hopefully they stick to that, because apparently all the next 3 sequels are
In
in
2
every
years.
2 years.
Yeah, but they're making money, so they can do whatever they want.
Well, the money isn't the issue. I think it's the time. I think 3 will be fine coming out in 2 years, but
4 and
I think
5
4 and
might-
5 might get delayed.
unless they film it together.
Yeah,
That could
those
happen.
might
Well, yeah,
get
if, I
delayed.
mean, if they're
They'll get the
already
Matrix
filming
Reloaded
four,
Revolution stream.
They're not.
I thought they
I think
were.
he's
Or-
about to finish 3. The filming of 3.
I thought he already did.
No,
three.
I think I read something that some parts for 4 were already filmed.
Or that it's
Not a lot of parts, like maybe a few
Probably
scenes here and there,
pre-production
I'm sure.
starting, but
Yeah.
because he was very clear on like this one has to do good for like a lot of the future ones to be done. So
Yeah.
since they already did 2 and 3 kind of together, I think he's talking about more about 4 and 5.
Avatar
Yeah.
3 is 95% filmed, along with first act of Avatar 4.
Boom.
Nice.
There you
So
go.
here we go. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in. This was a really
Final rating.
fun
Yeah.
rating.
Final rating.
This is a fun final rating. Take that back. All right, final rating. Yay or nay?
Okay.
For,
from
2 better than 1? That's all we want to know. It's 2 better than 1.
What do you give it? You give it an Aquafina, or you give it a
Zephyr Hills,
Dasani.
3 Zephyr Hills?
Zephyr Hills.
Aquapana, a Bubble.
I go to Zephyr Hills. I prefer my spring water over filtered water.
Or do you give it like Orlando water?
That's bad though. Like, I
Doo-doo,
wouldn't
exactly,
give this
doo-doo
Orlando
water.
doo-doo water by any means.
Ill. Okay, I think for the visuals, 10 out of 10 easily.
Mm-hmm.
For everything else, story, all that jazz, maybe like a 7. So
Yeah.
I would say somewhere like a 7.5, 8 total.
Yep, that's literally exactly what I would.
I
say.
would give the story stuff like a 6, but then like the visuals an 11.
Exactly. So
So
to
it
me,
bounces
it-
out to
comes
like
out to
7.5.
I give it like an 8.
Yeah,
Just because like you're going for the experience and the visuals. So
and
it's
they
like
met it. That's
that's
all.
an
That was my expectation,
'cause I-
and they met it. And exceeded.
For the first one, like if I were to give that one a rating, I would say that one's closer like an 8.5, maybe a 9 almost, because I think the pacing for that one was better. There was
Sam Worthington.
definitely a lot more like world. There was more world building in that one because it's the first movie that
Mhm.
they want to establish where you are, what's going on, and all this stuff. And I think that did a better job with that, whereas this one was just more of like an action-packed kind of sequel where a lot of stuff is going on.
Yeah, it was very straightforward.
So the first one's like
Yeah.
at most a 9 for me, and then this one's like an 8 at most for me.
All right. Cool,
Pretty
guys.
solid.
Good stuff, everybody.
Yeah.
And
I give it an
now-
8.
8. Yeah, I give it 7.5, 8. Like, what are we gonna soft 8? Yeah, I'm gonna give it a soft
Royal
8.
Blue 8. I don't know.
Yeah,
Teal.
soft 8. There you go.
Wait, would
Danny?
you give it any?
I'll give it a solid 7.
A solid 7.
Nice.
Fine. That means I'm closer to 7.5 then. I'm surprised Danny's the lower one out of all of us for once. It's usually Anthony, but good stuff. All right, everybody. So now we will wrap that up. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening in. We had a fun time watching the movie, some of us several times, just to give you our impressions. But we really hope you enjoyed the discussion. Reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram, Popcorn Watchlist, and share your thoughts. What were your favorite things? Any standout lines? Any standout visual set pieces that you really loved? Maybe a little gripe or two that you may have had, but we'd love to hear it. Reach out, listen in, interact. We'll have some fun, keep talking, and share love for the movies. Until next time, everybody, keep on popping. Thank you so much.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Thanks.